share with us what the interaction was between you and JT after that fourth goal? You seemed to have a word on the bench, and then he moved to the end of the bench.
Yeah, I wasn't specific at him. I just said, guys, we got to stop, probably a little bit more forceful. You can't dive in on plays. So, I don't know. Did he move? I didn't notice. Yeah.
Just your thoughts on practice today. What'd you like from the group?
Yeah, you always look for energy after games. You lose. It was good energy. So, that's what, as a coach, you always strive for the next day is make sure the guys have energy. Obviously you have a big game tomorrow.
With the big game tomorrow against Edmonton, obviously probably pretty easy for you guys to get up. What do you expect tomorrow against the Oilers team you guys have some history with?
Well, they're on a roll. I mean, Drysdale got 31 goals. I mean, McDavid does his thing. So, you got to know where they are at all times of the ice. They're just, they're unbelievable players. So we got to make sure we're above. It doesn't matter even it's them, it's whoever. I think we got to make sure the odd man rushes, things like that. We got to clean up. It's obviously something that tomorrow night you can't give against this team.
The situation is with the players are going through as a coach. I mean, during the timeout, you were very quiet, weren't yelling. Have you tried to push every button, yell, scream?
Yeah, I mean, you're an emotional guy, but there's no point yelling at a guy. I mean, there's some guys are really tight with the puck. There's some stuff, you look at the power play, there's some looks there. Guys aren't finding it right now because they're tight. So the last thing they need me is to breathe down their backs. We got to figure it out. Whether it's one practice at a time, one shift at a time, one video session at a time, and just kind of group some good days together.
Is it more emotional than X and O's right now?
Emotional
for you to get the guys up as opposed to X's and O's and.
Well, it's my job to get, obviously get these guys out of the funk, but obviously keep their energy level high. You can't play this game when you have, the old, victim card, poor as me. You can't play this game. I've been in this game too long. You got to come in a new day. Obviously, there's accountability the next day, but you got to come in with a lot of energy. That's the only the way you can play this game.
You talk about the tightness.
Yeah.
You give up the early one last night, and you get 2 power plays, and you get a shot on goal. Is that part of that, or how do you explain one shot on 5 power plays last night?
Well, that's the frustrating part because Yogi's terrific. Had a great game plan. LA, very aggressive. They send 3 on the puck. We get the puck out of pressure, and what do? We hold on to it, and we don't move our feet. Is that a tight guy? Maybe, but that's the game plan. When you get that puck, you got to attack, and we got to get some guys to unlock the hands, unlock the feet. I'd rather guys just be an aggressive mistake than a passive mistake. I think I'll take the aggressive mistake right now.
You yesterday told us Noah was nicked up.
Yeah.
2 days in a row now, not on the ice.
Yeah.
Is it more than that, or is it just...
Well, he's been dealing with a couple of things. So he saw a doctor yesterday. So I think a couple of days off will make him feel better. I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow. We'll decide tomorrow morning.
Talk about aggressive mistakes.
Yeah.
Was JT guilty of an aggressive mistake on the yellow goal?
Yeah, it's just not him. Especially the last couple of games, I call him like you got to have logic involved, and I think it's not JT. I don't want to pick on him, but sometimes our team, there's not the right time is to pinch when, the best players, whoever their best players on the ice, it's a 50-50 puck. You can't pinch, and especially when you don't have an F3 high. These are logical. We're just making illogical mistakes right now. So we got to kind of tilt it in our favor. Be smarter. You've been out there for 30 seconds. Not sure you want to do an east-west pass, especially tomorrow. McDavid's on the ice. You got to be crazy if you want to make a high-risk play when he's on the ice. So I think those are the things that we talked about: logic and know your role. I mean, you're a guy that's as a checker. We need you to check. We don't need you to try to dipsy doodle and try to score a goal. Obviously, if there's a chance of scoring, we want you to score, but you got to know when the logic is to attack. That's what I'm talking about.
Your top players for a while now.
Yeah.
It's kind of the theme
Yeah.
of part of this struggle that you've
Yeah.
needed more from them. Has it gotten frustrating to you as a coach that you're still waiting on basically the same guys that you were waiting on a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I get frustrated as coaches when listen. You're going to score, you don't score. I get it. It to me is that you got to make sure that if you're not scoring, the other parts of your game have to be clean. You can't, if you're not scoring and you're gambling, it's a bad recipe. I mean, if you're scoring goals and you're gambling, you can kind of turn a blind eye, but we're not even scoring, and we're just doing egregious mistakes. You can't give Connor a breakaway. You know, you can't give easy goals. Like the first shift of the game, is I think there's 3 or 4 mistakes on that goal. You can't do that, especially if you're not scoring goals. So that's kind of what was it frustration? It's more of making guys understand that, you know, that's how we're going to have to play for a while till we get out of this.
The first goal was all your top players too, making those.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's a time to press, but you know, we're trying to get momentum. We're trying to get the crowd in this game, and I just think that those are killers. But you're right. We had 2 power plays after that. Okay, we let the 1 goal, but did we get 1 shot? I mean, I think it's inexcusable because we're whether we're tight, we're not being aggressive enough.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Can you explain the idea of splitting Miller and Pedersen on the power play? I know you abandoned that and they were back.
Just
together.
need some freshness. It's stale.
It's not trying to get a second unit going as well. It's just.
Well, it's just whatever. We're trying, you know, our job when things are stagnant, our job as coaches. I mean, I got great coaches there. It's, you know, it's not that I'm just drawing, you know, it's a team effort here. We're saying, hey, let's try something fresh. You know, like there's nothing wrong with that. A 2-game schedule, you do that.
It sounds a bit like you want guys to get back to basics, kind of strip down the parts of their game where things haven't been going right. Reminds me a little bit of when you took over this team. Do you see any similarities between that era and now?
Yeah, a little bit. Mistakes on mistakes. That's probably the one thing that drives me nuts is you're going to make a mistake. It's the multiplying of mistakes. Okay, this guy made a mistake. Bad pinch. Okay, but we have a 3-on-2. We'll play the 3-on-2 properly. Don't sell out on the puck here, then all of a sudden our goalie has to make a miracle save where give him the shot, give him the dot shot. Our goalies are really good goalies. They'll make those saves 99% of the time. That's the stuff I'm talking about. And that's the hardest thing that I've found the last month is trying to make these guys, like, you got to calm down when a guy makes a mistake. That's really what it comes down to.
Can you go back to any of your coaching experience to look back at that and as a way to get out of here?
Well, even as a player, I mean, we talk about stories all the time. You know, I thought the coaches do a really good job today of talking to certain players about experiences. We've all struggled. I've struggled as a player, not scored. But you always get back to your identity. It could be as simple as, I'm going to be a real good forechecker tonight. I'm going to make sure that this guy is in front of me all night. Like, at least, you know, that'll get your game back. You're not going to, all of a sudden, it's not, I want to start scoring goals. You got to go through the process to score goals. You know, it's a lot of different things. I mean, I'm not going to bore you on the things, but it's more than, you got to, it's good practice, it's eating habits, it's shooting the puck when you're supposed to, it's going to the net, knowing you're going to get hit. That's how you score goals. It just does, you just don't go out there, hey, the play's going to stop and I get my shot. There's a lot to that, and I think that's what we got to get back to, the process of scoring a goal or checking.
Rick, do you think that this group has a clear identity that they're playing to, or are they still searching for that?
Well, I mean, you'd hope that they know how we have to play. I mean, we you know, people don't want to hear it, but we know there's, I don't know, 3 or 4 games we let 3 goals in. Thought we were making our way. Yeah, do we have to score goals? Do we have to get some guys to be more creative? Yes. But at least we're giving ourselves a chance. But you're not going to give you a chance, you know, giving up 3 goals in the first period. What was it yesterday? 3. You got no shot. So that's why you got to get back to your identity as, you know, a team without the puck, teams that doesn't duplicate mistakes, and a team that's, you know, you're a role player, knowing what specifically your job is sometimes.
And is finding consistency with that identity just come down to like effort and will, really, at the end of the day?
Well, you better have effort, yeah, and will. And you can't, you know, bad body language and stuff. And I haven't seen, guys have been pretty good with that, but you can't have that defeated look. It just fuels the other team. You know, shoulders slumped, you know, slamming a gate, you know, things like that. It's, you know, yeah, once in a while it happens. We're all human, but you got to keep it to a minimum, I think.
Thank you. Said you were looking to get 4 lines and Washington and Carolina. You kept the shots down.
Yeah.
As you search for building blocks and things to sort of work for your hockey club, have you considered going back to Pius Suter with Miller and Besser at any point? Like, you had success there. Pius is struggling offensively, but he brings that defensive sort of solidity.
No, it's something that we've talked about. Maybe put Sasson. Anything's on the table. But that's the sort of stuff that you got to bring, and you try to, you know, if you try that, what happens here, stuff like that. You know, we've rotated wingers, tried to make some stales, but at the end of the day, you know, you got to make sure that you do the right things.
Where do you go from here?
Why are you so pissy?
I don't know. It's probably for you guys to interpret, right? I'm not really conscious of it.
I'm not panicking here. It's more on you guys.
What are we on? Fuck are we done?
Connor, happy to have the chance to sit down with you, catch up.
Generational talent. Thanks for liking the video and subscribing.